The lightning shows my weakness, the thunder knows my secrets. The storm is like a brother, it knows me like no other. So let it rumble, let it roll, 'cause it's all I know.
Welcome back to the woods, guys, where today we are going to be making venison burgers. This is a muntjac haunch that I have minced. I've added 4 cloves of garlic, I've added some oregano and some rosemary and salt and black pepper, and that is it. People like adding stuff to muntjac, or venison generally. A lot of it is quite a dry meat. If you're willing to eat it medium rare, you don't need to be doing that. I actually really like adding pork fat, lard, lamb fat. You can add vegetable oil if that's your jam, but animal fats with animals is better. You can add egg, you can add breadcrumb fat. There is an entire list of things you can add. But what I've done with this, firstly, it's fresh, it's still quite wet and sticky. It should stick together relatively well, we're about to find out. And secondly, I haven't put it through a mincer, I've minced it with a cleaver. I've just bashed it all up into pieces, chopped it into chunks and bashed it all up. And I have found in the past that to be an effective way, because there's still a lot of strands of meat connecting the chunks, for them to still have some integrity. We're about to find out. Either way, we can have some really nice chunks of mince in a burger before we go out and have a nice walk on this lovely summer's day. So let's chuck number 1 on there like that. Right, that is an extremely generous patty. They don't have to be that fat. You can make them as big or as small as you want with burgers, right? I like a fat patty. Certainly if you're looking to get a good crisp on the outside and still have it juicy on the inside, thin is a bit more difficult. Fat is good. I like a bit of fatness with the burger. Plus, remember, we're in the woods. And so, everything is a good burger in the woods. I've tried something a little different here, in that I didn't sort of clean up the haunch. There is still all the gristle and tendon in here. And I'm thinking, when you make a lean meat burger, there seems to be some issues. It's the whole point of a burger is supposed to have some other bits in there, right? Fat, gristle, just to actually break up the consistency. And I'm hoping that that mixed with the cleaverage should have given us a bit of a win. We're cooking it over beechwood, which should be relatively tasty. Beech is not a disgusting tasting smoke, so we're on to a winner. Let's put that down there. Obviously, you can have it as cooked or as uncooked as you want. This is about as simple as cooking venison gets, in my opinion. I mean, you don't have to have a mincer to make it, because you can just do it with a cleaver or a kitchen knife. Just takes a bit longer than with a mincer, but requires less washing up, and I think you end up with a better patty consistency. And then you just need some bread and some toppings. And I've got tomatoes, we've got some lettuce, and we've got some garlic mayo, and a bit of salt and black pepper, just in case I messed up the amount of seasoning actually required in one of these beasts. And that's it. Like, there's no mucking around. I remember we did the skewers the other week, and I've done plenty of outside cooking. I do believe when you're cooking outside, you should just have it as simple as humanly possible. And a skewer is very simple, but they were quite dirty. It's just a patty. Like, you can eat this relatively well. Now I've got venison hands, so I'm gonna have to go and wash those. Back in a sec. Okay, moment of truth. These guys have been on for a couple of minutes. Hey, and we are gonna hope that it holds integrity. Oh yeah, it doesn't stick to the grill. Ooh, that is drier than I thought it would be. It's quite a hot fire, actually, stupidly. And so I did bring, after my rant about not actually putting anything in the burger, I brought stuff to put on it just in case. And that is a little drip of lard. I think we're actually winning there, you know. We did a thing and made a burger on a fire. Wow. So this meat came from, I don't know, not that far from here at all, actually. I was out for a completely different species, but incidentally, muntjac, as we discussed before, are abundant, invasive, and kind of a guilt-free thing to harvest. They've got no season, they've got nothing about them that requires protection, and depending on the woodland and its management and how people view their land, muntjac have either got to go or they've got to just be maintained at a lower number than they are, because those things will, well, a friend of mine put it the other day, they live in a grass verge for their entire life and breed 3 times a year. And that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's not far wrong from where it should be. And so we shot it and ate it. And that's the story of this delicious thing. We were walking through the woods, we saw it. In fact, we saw 5 and then went back through the woods, and one of them had returned, a young, ambitious buck. clearly looking to stake his claim whilst none of the big boys are around. This time of year they're in velvet. Velvet, by the way, for those who aren't in the deer world, is the covering that covers the growing antler. Deer shed their antlers once a year, pretty much all species of deer shed their antlers once a year and regrow a new set, and that grows in this blood vessel thick furry skin called velvet. Where muntjac have a all year round season, you can, well, shoot them when they've got velvet on. Many other deer species, males, come into season when there's a bit of velvet, but muntjac, you can shoot them whenever. If you want big bucks on your ground, best not to shoot the bigger ones in velvet. I'm in two minds. I like shooting big muntjac, but I also like eating, so I shot one in velvet. Luckily, had a look, just his facial conformation, the body shape, all this kind of thing, said he was young, and so I don't really mind in that instance. You know, it wasn't going to make nothing of a head and wasn't anything to worry about. As we just said, it's a muntjac. Either way, when they're in velvet, they still got the tusks, and I'm currently on a thing. I've thrown a lot of smaller muntjac heads away over the years, and now I'm on a drive to keep all of the tusks and have like a proper Tristan out of Legends of the Fall. And he comes back from Africa and he has the big tusk necklace, tooth necklace. I'm like, I like that. Not like it like I'd wear it, but I feel like if you're gonna honor what you shoot, you can eat it. That's a great way of doing it. You can keep some of the bits. Great way of doing it. Tooth necklace, pretty cool. I am just regressing currently to my 14-year-old self. They're not quite ready to flip yet, but they're not sticking to the feeble little grill. This is like one of those things that I bought on a whim because I had to go to a campsite where you don't allow ground fires, and ever since I've used it because it's better than having a ground fire, given that wildfires are a big issue, and certainly like leaving no trace is a big issue. Bringing this into the woods, it's no big deal. Like, never that far from the car, never walking that far, and hey, it fills up a backpack along with a bottle of water. My way of checking when I'm happy with fire temperature is what I was taught, or something I was taught by a South African guy who was my boss years ago, who was a great dude. He just puts his hand over the fire, and I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, I put my hand over at the grilling height, and I count to 10. And if by 10, I'm really hot, it's ready to cook on. If I can't endure 10 seconds, it's too hot. And if I can endure more than 10 seconds, it's too cold. And it's kind of a sweet spot. And we had this grill at the place and used to just have one half on fire and just keep feeding it to keep that 10-second thing. And I tell you what, it's worked for me ever since. You know, he says, this looks all right, you know. I'm quite happy with this. This looks like we're gonna eat good food. Turn that edge in, turn that edge round, and put that like that. And I think we're somewhere handy. It does dry out a good one without extra added fat, but it's also a test I wanted to make. It should be good and juicy. If it's not, I'll go back to putting olive oil, lard, lamb fat, or cow fat in there. But who keeps like lamb and cow fat on the side in their house? No one. So in the local butcher shop, you can buy cow fat that's frozen in chunks, and you can buy lamb fat that's frozen in chunks, and you can break it all up. Like if you break it all up on a tray, or you buy it and then chop it up and freeze it on a tray, have it in a bag, you can just grab a few chunks out and smash them up. Or even if you grind it into pellets, you can actually buy it pelleted, I'm fairly sure. Add it in and just get like a constant moistener. But this should be okay. Blue cheese, I love blue cheese. Like a blue cheese venison burger, that's a damn fine thing. And the blue cheese releases all of its oil into the meat. That's good. Not so good if you don't like blue cheese. I suppose you could add cheddar, that's a bit weird. Speaking of cheddar, I have got some American cheese for Producer Bob's Burger, which I'm not knocking. It's like highly voted as one of the best cheeses to have on burgers. I think, you know, cheddar's a bit much, isn't it? All right, guys, we're good to go here. Remember when we were kids and they didn't have brioche buns, we just had burger buns? That's funny old life. We're gonna make one up right now. Let's go for it. We're gonna start with lettuce on the bottom to act as a waterproof barrier. Snap the little thick bit off because it's annoying. And then we take our patty, we put the patty straight on top. Patty, who calls it patty? Burger. And we take some garlic mayo, which is homemade garlic mayo. We smash that all over the top. I can smell this is incredibly garlicky, so we're gonna not be social for a few hours, which is lucky that we're outside. And it's the beauty of outside eating. You can eat way more flavorful, disgusting, obnoxious, unsocial food. Lid on, and bang. All right, I am gonna cut this in half so you can have a look at the inside. Looks good. We got pink, we got juice. We're actually winning. I'm happy. I like that a lot. You've got the bread bun, basically a write-off, but not that bad. The American cheese is great. The garlic mayo is extremely garlicky, very much up my street. And the patty itself, you've got just enough venison flavor there. It's got really deep, meaty texture. It's been hit hard at the start where that fire was a touch too hot. The inside is just cooked, but it's still juicy and delicious. You've got all those hits of oregano, and rosemary, and it's just banging, and I am gonna eat it. It's nice. It's simple. It's not exotic. It's just a delicious hamburger. I think we live in a world where the burger has become actually quite an interesting thing. There's nothing wrong with one that has just got good, local, delicious stuff shoved in it. Not 2 beef patties, 1 deep fried chicken patty, and chili. Although that is one of my favorite burgers somewhere I ever ate. And I had a katsu chicken one that had a patty with fried chicken with katsu sauce over the top. Look, the world's a crazy place sometimes. Simplicity's nice. Guys, thanks for watching. You should make this. You don't need anything other than like some dead deer meat. That's it. Bang. Catch you next time.